2017 inductee Streakin La Jolla. Bred by the Texas partnership of B.F. Phillips and Delbert Smith, Streakin La Jolla was by Streakin 6 and was foaled in 1985 out of the Raise Your Glass mare Bottoms Up.
So Larry Fusilier, actually bought the horse in Oklahoma, and called my father that night. My daddy sent him a check, and via I think what back then was the Western Union, and bought the horse, and then they shipped him over here that night or next night. And that's how we ended up with him. When we unloaded him, he looked like a Lemieux. We didn't think we had much. Mr. Carl Gilbert and him had bought a bunch of first down dashes and some other horses that were just, and when they unloaded him kind of last, it looked like a Lemieux. So wasn't a whole lot there at first, we didn't think, but then, later we kept the horse and then sent in Mr. Lyles. They began to train, and I think Charlie called Dad one day and told him, thought we had a little something.
Well, I actually saw him run his first actual race that Don Tyree rode him, and he won the race so far. It was just phenomenal, and consequently he suffered injury and had to go to surgery. After his surgery and his return to racing the following years when I actually started riding him.
And that's when we came back, ran him in the Southern Summer Derby trials. He wins it real easy. I remember standing there in the saddle paddock. Steve Van Bever was standing there, and Tammy, his jockey, was riding a little horse, and he told us, if you can just stay close to that saw, horse will be all right tonight.
And there they go. On the outside, it's Streakin La Jolla going for the early lead, hoping to win his running second. Next in line on the inside, Victoria Bars third. Moving up in the middle of the track now is Fancy Lorraine. It's Fancy Lorraine with the lead. On the outside, Streakin La Jolla's right alongside. The Duckers moving toward the rail. It's Streakin La Jolla in front.
With an impressive win in the Sound of Summer Derby at Delta, it was time to test him on the main stage at Ruidoso Downs in New Mexico in the All-American Derby trials.
That's when we went to Ruidoso to run the All-American Derby trials. And didn't have some real good luck. We win the race, but the horse stepped back when they opened the gates that day. So he won the race, but didn't qualify. But he qualified in the consolation and came back and win it. But barely. It was a horse race with Cash Legacy. It was a real good horse at the time. But we did win the consolation, and then after that, we retired the horse.
Trained by Charles and Mike Lyles, he was undefeated in 8 career starts and ended his career with a modest earnings of only $56,000. Though Streakin La Jolla retired as an undefeated stakes winner, his legacy in Louisiana would be left on what he would accomplish in the breeding shed as he entered stud in Louisiana in 1989.
Rick and Brad Booty we went and talked to them. They were standing a few studs at the time, and they took Streakin La Jolla and started standing him, and Brad and Rick done a super job with him, kind of got him on the map, here in Louisiana. I heard Bubba say one day, Alvin Brosek say that, the heart this horse had, started breeding mares with him, he probably would definitely produce, Horse just had a lot of heart. We knew we had something in the stud career. When the babies got to the track, all just was classic babies, and when we got to the track, and just about, all the futurity trials like the Mardi Gras, he started qualifying. I think it was either the first or second year, one of his coaches won the Mardi Gras, and then just kind of went on from there. Lassie, and just, he kind of just started dominating here in Louisiana. Every futurity and overnight races, the horse just seemed like all his babies run,
I remember talking to Mr. Hayes about the horse. He was deciding whether or not to keep him as a stallion, and I felt sure in my heart that if he got a few good mares, that he would make him a outstanding stallion just because of his heart. And I think that's what he did. I think he passed a lot of those genes to his offsprings, and consequently was an outstanding stallion.
Brad and Rick, we moved the horse and went to L&J Farms. They stood him for I think a year or so, and Mr. Dahl Winthrop in St. Martinville had stood the horse, and Jude Robichaux, and I can't remember, I think that's where we were at the Robichaux Ranch, actually, when Nunley somehow or another called Dad, and we ended up selling the horse, and Robert Nunley and them bought him, and they were from Oklahoma. They bought the stud and took him out of state and Of course, you know, still done real well out of state and produced Mr. Jess Perry, which is, you know, a great sire in his own. And like I say, just the horse started here in Louisiana and went out and just done super. You know, it's been super everywhere he went and everything he done. His offsprings, his, you know, sons have sired and his daughters. Right now, if you can get your hands on a Streakin Lahoya mare, you got something, you know. So he just was a super horse for Louisiana.
He was a phenomenal horse, but what I remember about him so much was just his huge heart.
Describe that.
Well, you know, he was a horse that if he had a little problem when race time came, he just blocked it out. He actually just didn't realize that he had a minor problem come race time. He was 100% race ready.
The 2007 inductee into the LQHBA Hall of Fame, Streakin Lahoya.